We're on a Discovery 4 today, so we're going to go through JLR SDD. That's what's required for a vehicle of this age and anything up to around 2017. After that, you'll be looking at using Topics Cloud. See a separate video for a run through on that software. In order to use SDD, you need it installed locally on the PC. We're not going to go through that today, but what I am going to show you is where you buy a subscription for time to use the software. What we're going to do is a run through of how it varies from any other piece of software because it is quite unique. So first thing we're going to do is look at where we need to go to buy some time credits. So we've already got a login with Topics, and we're going to go down to our subscriptions, and we're going to choose some programming subscriptions, and we're going to go just independent module programming at this moment. I'm not bothering with workflow, and we're going to go and choose an hour. That's our minimum cost to run this software, £64 plus VAT currently. We can go up to a whole day if we've got a few vehicles to work on, 155, and then up to a full year and so on and so forth, where it does get a little bit interesting at over £2,000. But for today, we're going to choose an hour, go through next, and eventually make our way through to completing the order and then taking payment. So we're logged in now to the SDD software, and we're presented with this screen here. Interesting, at the top right, we can see we've got battery voltage in green, and we've also got our interface showing up in green as well. Okay, we've now extracted the data from the vehicle, and we're presented with a summary including the chassis number, model, etc, etc. We're going to go into diagnosis for the purpose of this video, and pretty much unique to SDD now, we're presented with symptom selection, and that's how the whole software drives. We have to tell it what is wrong with the vehicle, and it will then look at the fault codes present, combine the two, and come up with some recommendations for repair. So we do have some issues with this vehicle on the gearbox. So we have transmission in limp home mode, for example. We can put that in as a symptom. It will stick in gear, so it won't go up and down, so we can add those as well. We now have some symptoms up on the right hand side here, and we hit continue. The software will now interrogate the vehicle, do a full scan of all the modules fitted, and present us with a topology. We can now see all the modules fitted to the vehicle that have responded. Those that have got faults are listed with an orange eye. Anything that's happy and communicated has a green tick against it. Okay, we've now clicked on DTCs, and we're presented with a list of all the fault codes in the vehicle. Again, quite uniquely to SDD, it groups all of the faults in what it calls events. So if a group of faults occur at the same time, they will all be grouped as an event, which is logged against the mileage when the faults occurred. We can view it in different ways to get it to match what we're used to with aftermarket tools, but this is how the software loads initially. We can maybe switch to looking at relevance, and that will put the faults that are most relevant to the symptoms that we've just entered to the top of the list, so we can interrogate those in more detail. But the main difference with SDD at this point is we're given recommendations, and the recommendations here are targeted against the symptoms we've entered and the fault codes that we've also found within the vehicle, and we have procedures we can run through in this list to hopefully fix the issue that we've found. So we're going to nip back to DTCs just to cover one extra feature in SDD that you definitely wouldn't get with an aftermarket tool. Under status here, we can see we've got a light bulb icon. That tells me that that particular fault code there listed at the top is responsible for putting a warning light on the dashboard. And it's also luckily come up with 100% relevance to our symptoms. So that's something we definitely need to concentrate on now as part of our diagnostic pathway. So I've clicked on service functions now, and we're going to have a look at this extra menu. It's going to ask me a couple of things a little bit strange about the vehicle. It doesn't have electrically operated headrests, and eventually the list will load. And in here we can do some modifications to the vehicle, some customer accessories we can add, take away tow bar, that kind of thing. We can then do some activations and changes in electrical. Where we're heading down the bottom after all these sections is to where we would have security. And we can keep on going down into the different networks. And here we have under powertrain, We've got the ability to configure new modules for powertrain, so on and so forth. These options here now are only present because we have security accreditation on SDD. If you haven't applied for it and don't have it enabled, these options will not be visible in the menu. It's a little strange because you don't know you haven't got it until you need to use it. So have a look down here, and if you haven't got them, you need to start looking at adding security, which we can help you with. One last little bit, we can now go back to session and we could refresh our connection, which will repole all of the modules. And if we followed all of our process and actually fixed the issue, we should have a green tick for the modules we've been working on. So as you can see, there are lots of features and functions in SDD. We cover all of them on our 2-day training course along with Topics Cloud. There's a link to that in the description below. You can also follow the video that's on screen now for more comparisons between tooling and training.